Yeah, I think some of you might expect that, oh, I'm the one that will speak for 2 hours, right? I think the Facebook event page have that, but no, I'm just going to talk 10 to 15 minutes. Because if I'm going to talk about protests all the way, I think I get into trouble, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll tell you why I do it, like why I organize protests, the mechanics, when I started, where and how, right? The 5 pointers. When I did this about 9 years ago. I was staying in Sydney, right, for 5 years, and after the divorce, I came back. And I realized, wow, it's a big shift, from a country with full democratic freedom to a country that's very limited freedom. So I was taken aback. After 5 years, I couldn't actually adjust back to Singapore. Right, it's so stifling, and you can't say anything. Any policies that were pushed down were met with silence. So I asked, Kumaran and three other people to join up. Actually, it's to gang up. I said, hey, are you willing to come together, guys, to go to Hong Lim Park? I didn't know we can speak openly at the park. I can't even lead a one-man protest outside in the street. I get arrested. I say, hey, well, there's nothing much you can do, I actually became a very urban Straits Times forum writer. I think about 200 of my letters were published in the Straits Times forum page. So I was doing quite well as a writer, but hey, I want to articulate my views. I want to be seen. I want to actually be a voice for Singapore. So 9 years ago, four of us, I know Kumaran is one, because I recognized him on the mall where we took a picture, four of us. But after 3, 4 attempts, we give up because there weren't people coming. 300 max. It's always 100, 200 people that come to the meetings. So I say, no, I don't think I want to waste time, I don't think Singapore is interested, seeing 4 people speaking there at Hong Lim Park. But the big event came about in 2013 when there was a population white paper. As I scanned through the online media, I found it that many people are not happy. Like everywhere, people are talking about the population, about white paper, about increase in population. So I asked myself, am I going to do it? What if nobody turn up? If only 100 people turn up, right? So I actually put up a note, right, on my event page, but I didn't post up. But 2 days after, I took the guts, I took the courage to say, yeah, I'm going to do it, right? No one else is doing it. Actually, I'm waiting for someone to do it so that I don't have to do it. So actually, I learned something from all this, that sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's only one Terence. Sometimes there's only one Kumaran. Sometimes there's only one Alvin or one T Seng who took up the cost, who want to pay the ultimate sacrifice. So on 13 February 2013, we actually did the largest protest in Singapore in peacetime history. So 5,000 people came. You ask me how I do it, I don't know. I just don't know. People just keep coming and coming and coming. I remember it was in the rain. There was a heavy downpour, but people came with their umbrellas. Right. There was this woman that I was particularly impressed with because she came with a baby in the rain. So I asked her, ma'am, why are you coming in the rain to attend a protest with a baby? With tears rolling down her cheeks, she was saying, Gilbert, I'm doing this for my child. I'm coming down for him. So that really touches me. And people went around, buying tea, coffee for each other. People were buying buns for each other, and they don't know each other. I think that really touches me a lot. Right, it shows the kampong spirit. For foreigners who don't know what is kampong spirit, it's a spirit where we come together. It's a spirit where we gel together. It's a spirit where we don't know you, but hey, we care for you as a person, as a Singaporean. But there were backlash after the event. Right, I was deemed xenophobic. Right, I was deemed anti-foreigner, anti-French, anti-Australian, or anti-anyone that's not Singaporean. So if you want to organize protests after this event, be prepared for the backlash. Like what Kirsten, Terry has experienced, or even Terence, right? If you want to lead big protests, be careful, right? The backlash is there. And let me warn you, most of the backlash is online, right? If you are sensitive, you're emotional, you read a bad online comment about you, then please don't do this, right? This is not for you. You have to be very hard, thick skin. You have to be not get emotional when they read a bad remark about you, because it's going to be hurting. I have nights of crying after reading some very bad adverse remarks about me. I literally cry when I go to bed. It is not me, you know, why are you saying that? I'm not xenophobic. I have a daughter that lives in Sydney, right? I love the Australians, and my best friend is from Hong Kong. So am I xenophobic? But the remarks online were very fierce, right? It actually hurts me a lot, right? So I ask myself, am I the right person to do protests, right? And if you look at me, I can't speak very well, and I don't speak, right? There will be 8, 10 speakers that will actually join the panel and they speak. I'm just an organizer. I can't speak well, right? I can't talk well. As you can see, I stammer a lot. But that does not actually deter me from doing something, you know, for my country, right? That did not deter me. So I want to encourage you. You think you might not be able to do it, but sometimes you can, right? It does not need you to be articulate. It does not need you to speak well or look good. But I think you need passion. You need to be able to sacrifice a bit, right? There'll be repercussion. But I think the impact, the effect of what you do probably will have a lot of influence, right, on the society. I think after the big protests, there were a lot of meetings, right? I was called up also, like Terence and Alvin and Kumaran. I was called up for kopi, you know. You know what's kopi? I was called for coffee by the police. I was called for coffee by Home Affairs, right, by MCYS. And I think the main thrust of their dialogue with me is, do you have foreign funding? I said, I don't have foreign funding. I don't have any funding. Right? In fact, I'm a poor activist. Right? I can't even get a job for the last 9 years. I can't. Nobody will hire me. Right? I'm sure nobody will hire Terence or Kumaran. Right? We are on our own. Right? We are too infamous for people to hire us. Right? So we live a poor man activist lifestyle. So during the interrogation, right, the focus was foreign funding. During the interrogation, the main thrust of it is, why do you do it? They said, Gilbert, why do you do all this? Why take the trouble, you know, to stir up all this anti-establishment sentiment? So my question to them is, I don't think we have a proper freedom of rights to speak here, right? I think something needs to be done, right? Something needs to change. And if it comes from me, I'll do it, right? That's my answer to them. So after a while, they actually let me off pretty much on my own. I've done 20 protests in Hong Lim Park. I've done 10 indoor events like this in Singapore. And my encouragement to you is, I don't have much harassment. I've not sued before. Of course, I've been hauled by the police, right, for integration, but I have not been sued. I've not been charged. But there was an incident where we wanted to do an illegal outdoor protest in Ngee City in response to the Filipino Independence Day celebration. For that, yes, I was interrogated 2-3 times by the police, and I was charged with sedition law, but they let me off, right, with a written warning. So basically, I'm clean, right? I don't have a criminal record. I don't have to pay the Prime Minister $150,000. Right? I'm actually literally quite okay, you know, compared to my colleagues. Most of the speakers that have came, not these speakers, most of them in the past, most of them were charged. Right, like I think Leung is being sued by the Prime Minister. Roy is being sued, right, Alvin, of course, right. And a lot of them were charged and sued. So some people were asking, oh, Gilbert, I think you're aligned with PAP. You're aligned with the government. That's why you're not being charged. I don't know. I'm careful. As you see, I'm very cautious. Right? I don't take much risk. If the police say this, it's an illegal gathering, Gilbert. You can't meet. I'm not going to meet. Right? There are 2-3 events that we were disallowed to meet in Hong Lim Park. One is the Taipusum event, which we wanted to host it 3 years ago, where 2,000 people signed up, but I was not allowed a police permit. So I did not go against the permit, and I didn't hold it. I think the other one is the protest against the presidency 2 years ago. Right, we were asked to put up permits, permits and permits. So I say, no, we're not going to do it, right? It's wasting my time. But we changed it into a silent protest where there's no speeches, where we can just go and gather and protest, but no speeches. Because there's a lot of concern in Singapore about race and religion. I think you guys know, this is like taboo, right? We don't talk about it. We rather don't talk about it than discuss about it. So, I don't know, as someone who prefers diverse views, someone who likes discussion, I felt we should have a proper dialogue, have a proper platform for us to dialogue about race, about religion, right, about things that really matter to us, and not just say, hey, you can't do it, right? No way, you're going to have a protest or a dialogue about this. This won't take place if it's about race and religion, right? This meeting won't take place, right? You need a police permit to do an indoor gathering for race and religion. But for events like politics and arts, you can do an indoor event without a permit. So I know some of you want to do some events in Hong Lim Park. Right? You can approach me. Right? I can guide you. But please be careful, right, of the repercussion. Right? Please be aware that things that you do might come back to you. Right? So this is not Australia or France, or US or UK, where you can get away. Well, you'll be probably, your name will be registered. People like us today are goners. We can't get jobs, right? But I think we are willing to pay the price, right? We want to do something different. We want a better Singapore, right? There's a price to pay. That is what I want to warn you. But if you still want to do something for the country through a protest, do it properly. Right, do it legally. Go to Speaker's Corner where you can get a permit. Not difficult. I've not ever encountered a time where I registered for an event and was rejected. Not once, really. It's like, poof, within seconds you get approval. So I don't think it's so difficult to do an event. But I think the mechanics is how to get the people. So we went a lot on Facebook, social media, Twitter. We can't advertise on the newspaper. So we asked people like Kumaran to help us, right, to advertise our events. So this is the only way, the only platform where you can advertise your events, right, through social media, through Facebook, Twitter, right, through blogs, alternative websites. Funds, right, I can't take foreign funds. Like our dear friends want to donate $1 million to me, I can't take it, right, I can't. So all the money has to be localized. Right, I'm a registered NGO, so I have to submit my accounts every year, right, to IRS. There's also the elements of getting people to go for your protest. Right, what is a protest? What is an event? If no people sign up, no people turn up. Right, so this I think you need experience. You need to write a very attractive event page on Facebook. And you also probably reach out to blogs, right, to help you to advertise it. But often they're not, it's just purely social media. We can't advertise on newspaper or even Straits Times or Today. I don't think there's a local newspaper reporter here. Is there? Is there anyone from the local press? Right, there's none. Right, some events, they will boycott you. Right, some events, only foreign press shows up. Yeah, it's strange. Like the very big event we did in 2013, there was not even one interaction from the local press. On the very last day of the event, before, then they start to call me, right, to ask for interviews. But prior to that, 10 days or 7 days to that, foreign press, a lot of foreign press were calling on me, right? So local press, they are not supportive of you if you are very anti-establishment or if you are very big. Right. So I think the key is don't go too big if you can't take it. right? If you think you can't handle 5,000 or 3,000 people attending the events, yeah, please don't go too big, right? You can go for hundreds, 500. In fact, on February 2013, we're aiming for 500, right? We were not ambitious, right? I ordered 100 chairs, 500 water bottles, logistic for 500 people. But yeah, we are shocked. Almost 5,000 people turned up. Right? It was a good surprise, pleasant surprise, but the repercussions were there, right? I got into quite a lot of trouble after that. So if you're not prepared for that, don't go, don't do it. Be a good law-abiding citizen of Singapore. Seriously, then you don't get into trouble, which I think a lot of us are there. A lot of Singaporeans don't want to get into trouble, don't want to come here, don't want to go to the speaker's corner, don't want to do anything with Gilbert. Right? So be careful. If you are going for that, right, there are repercussions. But if you know the price, if you think this is what you're going for, good, stay on, right? The panel will have more juices for you, right? As we set up the table, TC, for the panelist Q&A, right? There's a toilet here, right? There's also some hot drinks here, right? It just needs about 5 minutes to fix up, and we will pass the mic to you to ask questions, and you can ask any of them, right? They will answer your question. Right? I think this will be the best part.